We are back. Had a good run at the start yesterday, busted just off the money. But we are going to jump right back in and play the Maximus at WPT St. John's Park. $400 buy-in, 50k guarantee, one dayer. Always a good one to play. But the guys that play at St. John's Park are definitely some of the craziest in all of Sydney. So lots of variants. Not sure when we'll get there because we've just got some life stuff to take care of first. So it could be a rock up at 600 or 800 big blind situation, or it could be a max slate reg. We'll keep you updated. First, gonna hit the gym, do some push, and I will see you there. Alright, made it. Should be rocking up about halfway through 800 big blind, 50k start. Let's spin. First hand we sit down at 501k and we peel 2 red Jeffreys in the hijack. We go ahead and raise it up to 2300 and the big blind comes along. We get a very appealing 984 rainbow, and when he checks I decide to bet 4.5k. Wish I went a little bit bigger here. We want to be playing very big bets or checks on this board. I bet 4.5k and he calls. On the turn 9 of diamonds, I was a bit unsure about what to do. On one hand, our hand wants to bet for protection and to get value from hands like 8x, but he does have a lot of 9x that just calls versus the big bet on the flop, so it was kind of a tricky one. I was thinking that with my 2 red jacks, I block a lot of the draws that I want to get value from, like Jack 10, Jack X of diamonds, so I decided to check this one back. I'll pop the sim up here in the middle and you can see what the solver thinks. So as we thought, our combo of jacks is actually the one that bets the most out of all combos of jacks. And we can see that all of our overpairs here are just happy to get all the money in at 50 effective to start the hand. We see a pretty displeasing king of clubs on the river, and when he snap checks, I think that we need to go for value here. We have the best hand nearly all the time. If we get check raise, we have a really easy fold. I went for a custom bet of 5.4k, which is not approved by the solver. We usually don't want to reopen for less than half pot on the river, just because the juice isn't really worth the squeeze. But in instances like this where villain is going to under check raise versus our unapproved bet, I think that it's good. So I go ahead and bet 5,400 and he beats us in the pot. I turn over my hand, maybe we win. We show and he mucks. So nice start, let's get on to the next one. Couple of orbits later, we peel 2 kings and the under the gun player raises to 3,000. He's a fun player. We decide to put more chips in than we normally would against a reg. We make it 10k. Cut off cold calls, the button cold calls.
Yes, everyone's invited.
And then a small blind saves us by jamming for 21,000. We rejam. And surprisingly, the cutoff also calls all in for around 35,000. Let's go to a run out. GG guys. A few hands later, we looked down at Queen 9 of clubs in the hijack and raised to 3,500. The small blind makes it 11k. We have a very easy call in position, playing pretty deep. Flop comes Queen of diamonds, 10 of clubs, 6 of hearts, and when he checks it over to us, I think this is actually a pretty nice one to check and protect our checking range with. Having the backdoor flush draw as well is nice. This is the worst Queen X that we're going to peel pre, so it seems like it falls into check pretty nicely, which is what we do. We see the 10 of diamonds on the turn, and he elects to bet 11k into 29.5, so around third pot, with a very easy call, nothing else to do, and then we head to the 5 of spades on the river. After a bit of thinking, he checks, and we have a pretty clear value bet. I decide to bet my hand for a big size and bet 35k. It's good to say that I nailed the sizing here with the 2/3 pot. That's really a product of the small blind having quite a polar range and us having pretty strong condensed range with lots of medium strength hands. It's going to lead us to this bet size of 2/3 pot. We don't want to go any bigger because we don't want to polarize, and the equity of our range on river matches up pretty closely with 67%. After tanking for about 30 seconds on the river, he does let it go, but we pick up another healthy pot and we are absolutely cruising. Moving on, it falls to the small blind at 1500 big blind. He limps, and we for once decide to check back the 10-3 off. Any of my mates that are watching these know that we raise these ones up pretty pure in a live environment, but this guy just did not look like he was going to fold. And I think it's actually good to mix once in a while rather than just pure raising all this junky offsuit stuff. So I check back and we see 10-6-4 with 2 hearts. He checks, I bet 3k, and he calls. I decided to bet this spot just because I want to put money in with top pair as much as possible against a recreational. In theory, we can check this some of the time, but I opted to bet my hand all of the time. On the 5 of spades turn, he quickly checks, and in hindsight, I think I would have liked to have bet the turn here with top pair, but in a theory perspective, we have one of the weakest top pairs we can have. The turn brings in a lot of 2 pairs straights. It starts to get a little bit thin, and it's nice to have some top pair in our turn checking range, so we check back, and we see the jack of diamonds on the river. When he checks, I think my hand is a pretty clear value bet. We can get called by 6x, 4x, 5x. Those are the sort of hands that I'm ranging him on when he checks the river. We decide to bet 8k, again betting in line with what we think our equity is on river. And after a little bit of tanking, he makes a painful fold. 2 hands later, we pick up the ace of spades, king of diamonds on the button, folded to us. We open to 3.5k, and a VIP makes it 11.5k from the big blind. We're about 160, 150k effective at 1.5k big blind, so about 100 big blinds. And I really considered flatting here with the offsuit variety. Let me know what you think below. I just thought that against a guy that is playing such a ridiculously wide range, Ace King O has enough equity to just put in the 4-bet. So that's what we do. We make it 26.5k and he flats. Off to a flop in a massive 4-bet pot, super deep, which comes a very favourable king of clubs, queen of spades, 4 of spades. He checks, and I go for a bet of 12k. In hindsight, I wish I went bigger. Firstly, because the preferred size is either quarter or half pot on this board, and secondly, because we're playing against a VIP, and he is going to fold a lot less than we would see in theory. So, bit of an error from me here, but nonetheless, he calls a 12k, and we see the ace of clubs on the turn, bringing a double flush draw. Top 2 for us, looking pretty good, and when he checks, I decide to go for a bet of 40k, setting up a river jam. But we never actually get to decide what we're going to do on the river because he meets us with the check jam for all of it. 120,000, We are losing to some pocket 4s, pocket queens, Jack 10 suited. Other than that, not a whole lot that's beating us in this 4-bet pot. We flick in the call and we get the bad news because he has 3-bet the Jack 10 offsuit, called the 4-bet and pinged it on the turn. No help on the river for us, and what was looking like a very cruisy, promising first session ends in disaster, and we are swiftly booted from the tournament. Well, it's funny how in this game you can just be absolutely cruising, have 3 start stacks, table soft as, you're winning every hand you play, and then it all comes undone. It's very easy to say, oh, these guys are so bad. Look, you're playing a 4-bet pot with Jack 10 off and just rebuy, like you have so much edge, but like there's other factors at play here. I work a full-time job. I want my Sunday back. I don't want to sit here in a room with these guys and just have to have this conversation every time we get inevitably cooled, or I don't know, it just feels like a waste. It's like a waste of time. It feels like a waste of my energy. It feels like a waste of your guys' time watching this happen, but we have to document it. It's part of the game. And I guess the only thing to do from here on now is find the adjustment to make. Maybe the adjustments to call a lot more in position versus this 3-bet, because we have such little fold equity with our 4-bets. Maybe our Ace-King O wants to just call in position as opposed to our Ace-King suited, which can 4-bet. These things cross my mind, but I don't know. Just Seebs, bro. Just Seebs. I will say there's an element of me feeling like I don't get what I quote-unquote deserve in these fields. And I know that I don't deserve anything. I'm not entitled to anything. But it does feel like there are these people that just get picked randomly and they don't particularly play well. They don't have more knowledge. They don't have more discipline. They just got picked. Hey. 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 Alright, very sad stuff. Nothing we can do except just go on to the next one. And the next one will be the King's mini main. I think it's 125k guarantee for a $200 buy-in. Always goes huge. We'll be firing plenty of bullets. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.